Sally Morgan was born in Perth in 1951 and was the eldest of 5 children. Sally struggled as a child when going to school. She hated the routines on which the school ran. She found her classes irrelevant and felt she learnt little. She became skilled at faking illness to avoid going to school. At the end of primary school, Sally took an IQ test and was deemed unfit for further education. Sally's mother, however, rejected these results and insisted her daughter would complete tertiary studies. In both primary and secondary school, Sally's sole ambition was to study art. Her mother discouraged her from pursuing a career as an artist, claiming that artists don't get anywhere in this world. During secondary school, Sally became a more conscientious student. However, she had mixed emotions about passing her exams because she badly wanted to leave school. She began to realize, though, that if she wanted a fulfilling career, she would need to continue her education. In 1974, Sally completed a Bachelor of Arts degree at the University of Western Australia, majoring in psychology. She is also a postgraduate diploma from the Western Australia Institute of Technology in Counselling, Psychology and Computer and Library Studies. My Place, which is this book here, is Sally Morgan's first book, and upon publication it immediately achieved first seller status and has since sold over 500,000 copies in Australia alone, and was subsequently taken up by the education market. In 1987, the Sydney Morning Herald published an article detailing the Human Rights Commission Awards presented Indigenous writers, to which Sally Morgan was one of them for My Place. The awards were established by the Commission to recognize personal endeavors which have been promoted to the understanding of public discussion of human rights in Australia. The importance of this book is evident through its inclusion in the school curriculums. Sally won the 1988 Western Australia Week Literacy Award for Nonfiction. Her second book, Wanamaraganya, was published in 1989, which is a biography of her grandfather, Jack McPhee. In 1990, she was awarded a Medal of Australia. Sally has also written a number of children's stories, some of which she has herself illustrated. And as well as writing, Sally has established an international reputation as an artist. As part of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, her print Outback was selected by international art historians as one of the 30 paintings and sculptures for reproduction on a stamp representing an article of the Declaration. Sally is currently Director of the Centre for Indigenous History and Arts at the University of Western Australia.
Baby Belby's Question by Sally Morgan. How long will you love me? Said Baby Belby to his dad. I will love you until a crow catches a falling star, said his dad. Until a dingo dances with a python. Until a iguana gallops over the sea. Until a kangaroo kisses a koala. Until a lizard lazes in a rainbow. Until a platypus plays with a porpoise. Until a seal sails across the sunset. Until a turtle teases a crocodile. And until a wombat waddles on the moon. So you will love me a long, long time, said Baby Bilby. I will love you forever, said his dad.
The experiences of her hidden origins was a stimulus for her first book, My Place. My Place is a story of the life of Sally Morgan and reveals her discovery of Aboriginal heritage. The first section of the book begins by telling about Sally's younger years with general facts about school and home. The book tells how, as a child at school, Morgan knew that she, like her mother, had a slightly darker skin hue than their neighbors, but she accepted her mother's advice. Tell them you're Indian. While she initially finds this explanation exciting and exotic, as she grows up she realizes it's not true and yearns to resolve the mystery of her existence. However, when she was 15, she learned that they were in fact of Aboriginal descent from the Palku people of Pilbara. Sally was bewildered by her mother and grandmother's apparent unwillingness to discuss in any way their origins. After the discovery of her true heritage, Sally digs deeper and decides to write a book about it. She interviews her mother, Gladys, her grandmother, Daisy, and her uncle, Arthur, and comes to understand their bitterness and distrust of authority figures. Through this research, Sally embarks on an emotional journey to learn about her family history. She learns, however, that it is not always the most pleasant. Through interviews with her family members, Sally discovers that her family has been a part of the stolen generations. As Sally gradually gleans from her family more clues about their past, she eventually finds her grandmother was descended from Aborigines in the northwest of Western Australia. She and her mother then visit the sheep station Corunna Downs near Marble where her grandmother was born, and which was once owned by pastoralist Howden Drake Brockman. In the vicinity they find a small network of Aboriginal relatives they had never known existed. For Morgan and her mother, who both had white fathers, the discovery of their part Aboriginal descendant is transformational. She says, "How deprived we would have been if we'd been willing to let things stay as they were. We would have survived, but not as whole people. We would never have known our place. We are different people now. What had begun as a tentative search for knowledge had grown into a spiritual and emotional pilgrimage. We had an Aboriginal conscience now, and we are proud of it." Sally is recognised as one of Australia's best-known Aboriginal artist and writer. Her book My Place remains her most influential work, not only because of its very wide popularity, but also because it provided a new model for other writers, particularly those of Indigenous background. And the storytelling mode of the book is deeply connected with the Aboriginal identity. Due to the stolen generations content, the book was very controversial, and some historians have critiqued Morgan and her writing, saying that the entire book was fabricated and that Sally is not even an Aboriginal. Sally Morgan presents a story that is relatable to both Indigenous and non-Indigenous Australians. She presents a history that forces both white and Indigenous to assess the past and to decide whether or not a correct Aboriginal history has been told. She also confronts the Indigenous reader with the idea of learning their past and embracing Indigenous identity, even if it's painful. Sally Morgan could be seen as an Aboriginal ambassador, teaching Indigenous Australians to feel pride in their identity rather than shame.